Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be reading chapter 3 of The Evil. And then tomorrow I'm going to do chapter 4 and chapter 5. So, chapter 3 is titled Compulsions and it's Sarah's point of view. My my head was leaning against the cool window glass as I sat on my bed. I was back home, physically and mentally. There were so many colors and textures of memory tickling my brain, swallowing my body. They felt so good, just like how they used to. The second story view of people. No, now I can't. Sorry. The second story view of people's houses, the busy road, inland made me want to grab it all with my mind and eat it, because the sun made everything look so warm and spacey. I wanted to fall into the grass and scream so loud I cry. I wanted my throat to scar and rip so I could taste my power when I heal myself. Luna was out there somewhere. Oh, Luna. I remembered her shoving me against the ice cream stand, punching and kicking me, ripping my hair. My fingers touched my scalp, feeling the wounded, raw spot. I've seen her crazy, no doubt, but this last time was just darker, and she still has the mutations inside of her. Wait, maybe if I focused hard enough, I could find her from here. My eyes shut as I searched her for her. My eyes shut as I searched for her aura that was so familiar. I gotta try and slow down. That's what it is. It was red with uncontrollable compulsions pushing out. She generally had the ability to control them, but I guess she didn't want to. There was orange and yellow circulating the red, giving all that extreme energy some kind of purpose. I fine-tuned it to the last detail. Laser focused and filtered out everyone else's around me. Some were kind of similar with red splotches, but mixed with green and blue. Others were mostly red, but had white and blue specks. Finally, far away, I found Luna. My fingertips met my forehead as I whispered, "Send this energy to Luna to drown out the mutation inside of her." I opened my eyes and saw the fragments of blue power on each of my fingertips. I made them turn red so her aura would accept it, and watched them go flying through the window and to her, wherever she is. And then, scene break. My head was against Nick's shoulder as my cheeks became liquid, melting onto the fabric of his black shirt. Every time he touched me, kissed me, or looked at me, I started melting away. His lips touched my forehead, and all of the hot skin slid off of my face. I wanted it. I wanted it to. Wanted to be nothing but a puddle seeping into him. Mrs. Lee walked into the room with a paintbrush in one hand and a bottle of wine in the other. She looked so exhausted and unput together. I've seen her like this once before. She dipped the brush into a bucket of pink paint on the floor, then started drawing a circle with it on the grayish blue wall. "Oh, Alice, look at you," she said quietly in a forced, groaning type voice. She splattered on a stick figure body to the head and said, "You look so pretty and precise, my youngest little child." She stumbled to the side and had to catch herself before falling, then jammed the entire paintbrush back into the bucket and pulled it out, with pink paint dripping off the handle, onto Miss Lee's hand and the floor. She splattered on two splodges for eyes in the head, then a smile. "Did you color your hair like Luna's?" "Ha ha 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 ha. You always did look up to your big sister," she said in her low, quiet voice before making curly hair. Suddenly, she stopped and dropped the paintbrush on the ground. her eyes got glossy. Tears streamed down her face as she ran upstairs, sobbing. Oliver was sitting on the couch watching in shock. I knew she fooled him that she was the most put-together woman in the world, but the reality was, nobody is. And scene break. I was running through the craft store with Nick. He was jogging behind me, trying desperately to keep up. Earlier there was a compulsive desire in me to paint, and paint, and paint, to make the unexplainable feelings in my head come out, and other people could look at them. Nick could look at them. I read the aisle sign 3A, and it read, paint canvases, paintbrushes. I gasped, and as dopamine shot my brain. Hurry up with that cart, I screamed at Nick while gazing at all of the paints in awe. That's what stole my attention first, rows and rows of beautiful colors. Permanent green deep, dioxide purple, cadmium red deep hue. They were all worth dying for. Nick came up behind me, panting and sweating. I started throwing bottles of acrylic paint into the cart whenever I felt the strong desire to. After a while, I noticed foam paintbrushes a ways down, which I needed more of, so I swung my shoulders from side to side while running down and grabbing a giant handful of them. I miss having these to structure my backgrounds, I said while throwing them in the cart from where I was. They bounced in. Yes! I yelled while kneeling to the ground with my hands in the air. Ha 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 ha. She's going a little bit crazy. Okay, so your total's gonna be $603.57. The older lady checking us out said. Nick stiffened. Babe, that's gonna be way too much. No, it's not. Relax. I still miss Lee's credit card, I said while holding it up and waving it around. What? Why would you do that? You don't understand. I needed to paint, but you already have enough supplies to begin with. I opened my mouth to argue, but then looked at the cart filled from top to bottom with canvases, brushes, and paints that I probably didn't need, but wanted so badly, and the wanting took over. Well, I almost died, so I deserve it. We'll take it, I said while smiling and handing her the card. Her wrinkled face looked disgusted with me, but I didn't care. And then scene break. When I checked the time last, it was 4 a.m., but that must have been a couple hours ago. If he starts barking enough. I couldn't stop the rush in my head from coming out. The satisfaction of mixing beautiful colors, the thrill I got from physically creating the textures I felt. The accomplishment from finishing a piece that meant something. I couldn't stop. Several paintings were done, while some were at different stages of completion. Others were just globs of paint, which were the first couple I did. And here's like a picture of her paintings. Nick was sleeping in my bed. He asked me to get in with him a million times, but laying in bed was like getting buried in stones. How could I sleep when I feel this energized, focused, powerful, and great? Great. I finally felt great. I smiled. The fact I had power was still a foreign concept. Sometimes my brain would go back to a dark place for a split second. Then I remembered all the beauty that was inside of me, and it felt like going down the first drop of a roller coaster again. Air rushing through my abdomen and out of my forehead, filling me with excited adrenaline. I added more light orange to shade this painting. It was of my face melting with fire. The orange streak started locking substance, so I dipped my brush back onto the paint palette. I looked back over, and there was an ugly, evil face covering my beautiful painting. It had gray skin, red eyes, and rows of razor-sharp teeth. This is her painting. Anxiety and panic took over as I launched backward and fell hard on the floor. While catching my breath, I realized that this was the first time I had anxiety in days. Long, sharp fingers suddenly rose from the canvas. Its hands reached on the table and pushed itself out. The hands grabbed my head and shoved it in the thing's mouth. And scene break, Nick's point of view. So this is Nick narrating. I woke up to loud thumps, opened my eyes, and it was Sarah, on the floor moving side to side, her arms and legs spasming, eyes rolling back, and paint spilt on the floor. I sprang off the bed and knelt next to her. Sarah, Sarah! Oliver suddenly walked in the door, looking like he just woke up, and saw what was happening. He gasped. He opened her end table drawer and started looking for something. What the hell are you doing? I screamed at him. After knocking out a bunch of papers, he pulled out something yellow with ink, written on the back. We have to bring her back to the witch's lair, he said. So that was chapter 3. Thank you all so much for watching. And the next one's going to be the last one I'm going to do for reading it. And it's going to be chapter 4 and 5. So thank you for watching me read my book. Bye.